Hi, Katia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank
So,
you for having me.
oh, you're most welcome. So you are an author, yes?
I am.
Okay. Is that your full-time job, or do you do something else? Because I know a lot of authors that can support themselves on their work, and a lot that can't. So, I don't know. Is this what you do, or do you do something else?
Well, I always do art 24/7, including writing. And I also do some freelance.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, right. You're also, as well as an author, you're also an artist, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's great. So tell us a little about your background. Did you start drawing when you were just a little kid? Like
Yes, I
drawing
did.
everything? Yeah.
Yep, always have.
Okay. Do you remember what the first thing was that you were drawing that people liked and said, wow, that's really good?
Um, well, well, one drawing where I got recognition from was when I was in kindergarten. It was for an art contest, and I drew like a big ferry boat and the Statue of Liberty. And it
Oh,
got
okay.
put into the contest and it won.
Great.
I don't remember what the contest was called, but that was like the first time I was ever really recognized or anyone ever acknowledged me for my art.
Super. So did you go to art school at all?
I did.
Did you
I did
study
go to
art?
art school
Yeah.
and I got my BFA in animation.
Oh, fantastic. Which art school did you go to?
Wesley University.
Where's that?
That is in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Okay. You know what? It did sound familiar because I'm from Boston originally. I don't live there anymore. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful city.
So what you thought of Boston was nice, yeah? You liked it?
I did. It was small and walkable.
So you've got a book out called The Foretold Story Book 1 Part 1. How many parts of this book are there going to be?
It's a trilogy, but it's going to be in four books because book one is cut into two parts.
Okay. Tell us a bit about the story. Tell us about the books and what can people expect if they buy your books and read them?
Well, the book is called again The Foretold Story. It follows this young man named Midas who has had a lot of hardships and dramatic situations that happen in his life as he's trying to pursue his dreams. And his dream is to work for the renowned skyscraper Empire, which is located in New York City. And as he's pursuing his dreams, he encounters many twists and turns, and he kind of unknowingly lands among the highest of secret societies, where they kind of like are playing a large role in almost manipulating his life in a way. And then there's this greater battle of good versus evil between uh, two deities, and he's
Okay.
caught up in the mix of everything.
Is this sort of sci-fi fantasy, or is it
Um,
superhero kind of DC Comics type? What's the sort of genre style of this book?
um, well, I call it a cinematic multi-genre sci-fi fantasy, and I say multi-genre because there's moments of humor, moments of um, fear, moments of romance, moments of suspense. And it's kind of like it's just life is made of many genres. It's never just one.
That's true. That's very true. Um, who do you like to read? Who are some of your favorite authors?
I don't really have a favorite actually.
Well, okay, it doesn't have
um,
to be like the number one favorite, but just who are some of your favorites? Who are some of the ones that you like?
well, it wouldn't be quite a author with like solid words. It's more of a actually it's a manga. A manga is a Japanese comic.
Oh,
comic
manga.
book.
Yeah, okay. I'm familiar with those. You like those, yeah? Okay.
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, I noticed that picture in the behind you. It does have a certain Japanese anime kind of look about it. Do you like
Yes,
their style? Yeah.
that's my one of my art pieces that I created.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very good. Yeah, it's
Thank
excellent.
you.
I know this is an off the wall question, but did you see the movie Speed Racer?
The movie, like the live action one or the animated one from like
Not the
the
one from the
80s?
70s. No, the new one, newer one that had John Goodman and Emil Hirsch. And
Yes, I did.
did you like that movie?
I was it
Not
was
so
what it
much.
was. I feel like it could have been done a lot stronger to
Uh,
kind of stay true to the
to the
original
Oh,
series.
okay. Yeah. Well, it was
Hmm.
very Hollywood, and
Yes.
yeah. But I did like the one thing I did like about that movie was the colors. I
Oh
loved they
yeah.
used all the bright colors and everything to kind of give you the impression of animation, like even though a lot of it was real people.
Hmm.
There's been a couple of movies that have done similar to that, like The Cat in the Hat. Do you remember that?
That the book, right? I
Well, there
mean, I
was the
know they did
book,
a
but then
live
there was the
action.
movie with Mike Myers who played the cat.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and again, they use that sort of extra bright colors in the film to kind of
Hmm.
give you an impression, an illusion of
Oh yeah.
animation. So I enjoy that part of it, but yeah, it wasn't quite like the series or the cartoon from the '70s at all. That's for
Nope,
sure.
it lost a lot of the originality. I think it's part of the reason why it did is because, they didn't really know much about the series and the characters and well, that's just my opinion. I'm looking at it. I'm a fan of Speed Racer. There just could have been many more things to have improved it.
Wasn't that one of the original sort of Japanese anime cartoons to come to the United States? Because I remember Speed Racer, the original one, as a little kid. So that's how long ago it
Yeah.
was that came. But I don't remember any Japanese anime before that. I think that was really the first one to make
Yeah,
it
it
to the
was.
United States. Yeah.
I think. Well, there was a couple more actually. Some of them failed epically. um, like Super Mario Bros. That was in the 90s. That was based off, the video game Super Mario
Right.
made by Nintendo out in Japan. So again, it's just a lot of things could have been done to just make it stronger.
Yeah.
I
Although
wanted to.
although they did well with Nintendo, so I'm sure that even if
Well,
the movie,
Nintendo, the series did well, like the
yeah,
games and all that. But when it comes to Hollywood, they're just in the interest of making money, and
of course,
the artist needs a lot of
yeah,
creative control. So
yeah.
it's not balance. It's just how much money can we make and milk off the franchise rather than, hey, let's make a beautiful piece of art and have the balance of money and art together.
Well, that's been the battle in Hollywood since Hollywood began. The
Yeah.
and I think the reality is that the money is always going to win because without the money, the artist doesn't get an opportunity to show his art. That's I'm not to suggest that I agree with that because
Yeah.
I'm all for the artist, but there is a point where take a look at what's going on now. The big,
Hmm.
huge budget films, the ones that they'll throw $100 million, $200 million at, are
Hmm.
all the DC Comics, superhero, Star Wars. The good love stories get sort of relegated to the lower end of the budget scale.
Mm,
And a lot of those people have gone indie simply because the indie artists have complete control
mm-hmm,
over what they do, over what they produce. The problem with the indie artist is that they don't have $100 million to spend on their film. You know, they're lucky if they
mm,
have $1 million. I've seen some indie films that beautiful films that were produced for $50,000
mm-hmm,
and every bit as good as anything you see from a full-blown studio. But the
mm-hmm.
studios are less interested in making those kind of films.
Well, but the people are starting to get bored. So
True,
eventually it's
true.
going to catch up. And people want new things. They're tired of same old, and remakes. They want to see something new that reflects the times we're living in. And so I'm like, you can do the money route for so long, but that empire comes crashing down sooner or later.
It
But
will. And styles change. Like you said, people don't want to see the same thing.
yeah, they want
It's
something
some
different. They want something refreshing. I'm like, okay, we had our fun with these other stories, but why do we have to? I mean, so many movies they make are just being remade, and I'm like, why would you remake a really good a movie that was already good to begin with? You know, and just
yeah, it doesn't make
there's
much
so
sense.
many questions I have, but I
Um,
guess that's just how it is.
you know, I was just thinking that your book and looking at your artwork, would your
Hmm.
stories and your artwork and thing, would that lend itself to video games? I mean, could they make a game from your work?
Oh, of course. Um, well, this is my book.
Oh yeah, hold up your book. Okay, pull it back a little bit. Pull it towards you. There we go. Oh, okay, that's nice. New York City.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, great.
Um, Originally, the larger story to my book was originally a video game concept. But of course, as I grew, it developed into something far more. Um, and this is just the prequel series to the larger story.
Okay. All right. Well,
Um,
good. How's your book doing? Have you selling lots of
it's
copies?
it's doing good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still a baby, so but it's getting out there, and people who have read it are telling me that it's really captivating, good
Great.
and relatable, and quite different. They like the characters too.
We have to
So,
wrap it up. We've kind of blown through our 15 minutes.
oh, of
Thank you so
course.
much for coming on the show. Do you have a website you want to give
I
out?
I do.
Okay.
The My website for the book series is www.theforetoldstory.com.
Okay.
And then for
Super.
my artist work, all things art, would be www.vscene.net.
Super. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I enjoyed talking to you. Best of luck with your book.